developed into the harebrained mixture, along with cringe-worthy subtext to each scene. The whole thing feels like a slow-motion car crash that was doomed from day one. So, perhaps, in a way, The Conqueror has redeemed itself by becoming a better story than the movie itself could have ever hoped to be. How does a bad film get made anyway? Few people, if any, get into the motion picture business hoping to make something terrible. Yet it does seem like Hollywood churns out more stinkers than gold. The first step naturally lies in the writing, the carefully crafted instructions for the movie. Bad instructions, bad results. Or the team could be embarking on the filmmaking journey for all the wrong reasons, such as oodles of cash. An actor could be miscast in a part, or guided under the wrong direction, thus plainly coming across as bad, bad, bad. The Conqueror began with all of these mistakes, and then plunged its poor players toward near destruction. Extreme heat, desolate conditions, and even panther attacks plagued the shoot. Add eccentric billionaire, aviator, and occasional picture producer Howard Hughess into the mix as the head of RKO, and there was simply no way to win. It was these misguided moves that drove the entirety of Hollywood and the picture business to the brink. Beneath the glistening array of freshly filmed classics was the weary studio system. Aging moguls had staked their claim since before the invention of sound, and had been around the block a time or two. They also carried firm beliefs in how picture production should be done. The old Hollywood Republic keenly stepped up to fight the arrival of television, armed with bloated period pieces, which cost an arm and a leg to produce. The excuse was to attract viewers out of their homes for more astonishing star-driven entertainment. At first, the sights and sounds succeeded, but the out-of-touch, sugary escapism of the latter 1950s wore out its welcome rather quickly. Behind the scenes, troubles have only been further exposed and condemned in modern times. Howard Hughess used filmmaking as a way to exploit young starlets, a hobby in which he was hardly alone. There was just too much of everything harmful driving production, and too many people blindly saying yes to those in possession. The Conqueror could be argued as the first real domino in the collapse of the original movie-making process. Without it, we may have never seen the likes of Coppola, Spielberg, or Scorsese arrive during the New Wave movement of the 1970s. On the darker side of the 1950s, far away from the decade's cinematic circus, came the life-annihilating threats of the Cold War. After the United States dropped Fat Man and Little Boy over Japan, the world was forever altered with the looming panic of a nuclear attack. The Soviet Union, with its opposing communist views, perfectly etched itself into a villainous rival for the United States to loathe and fear. Nuclear testing in desolate southwestern landscapes was deemed a must for survival. These were the very same landscapes where exotic stories set in faraway lands could be made. The dismal cherry atop this story acts as a stark reminder of how dangerous film production and this cruel world can be. Beyond the outlandishness of a chaotic production came years of pain, heartbreak, conspiracy, madness, and death. Could John Wayne be blamed for the critical thrashing this film received? Could the blindness of Howard Hughess be constituted as murder? The absolute truth can only be speculated. This debate has turned The Conqueror into a disputed myth among film fans, film producers, citizens, and even the U.S. government. But it has been so long since 1956, the questions will almost certainly never get their answers. Advocates still vie for justice. Audiences still scratch their heads in confusion. No matter the opinions, the author would still like to give condolences to any family members and friends who lost a loved one who worked on this film, and those in the desert towns of the American Southwest who continue to see others succumb to cancer. Through articles and studies, the work of biographers, and the mouths of residents from Utah, the story